Welcome, everyone. This is Gregg Rock, and I'm thrilled to bring you the next episode of our Meet the Author Webcast series. And we're thrilled to have Dr. Setrag Khoshafian with us, who has been a longtime friend of BPM Institute. We've worked together many times over the years. He now is Principal and Chief Scientist of Koch Consulting, and we're going to be here featuring his brand new book, How to Alleviate Digital Transformation Debt. So welcome, Dr. Setrag. We're thrilled to have you back. I don't want to date both of us, but I looked it up, and our first webcast we did in 2005.
Wow.
It was you and I and the late Peter Fingar back then. Thrilled to be working with you again, and I appreciate your insight then. But I think I appreciate it more today with some of the things you've done in the new book. So let me see if I can set the stage, and we'll get things underway here. For folks that don't know, Dr. Setrag has been a senior executive in the digital industry. He's innovated and architected and developed many digital transformation products, services, and solutions. As I mentioned, he has his own consulting company now, and he's authored over 10 books over the years. And the approach that I appreciate that he takes is he makes very complex topics very understandable. And we're going to talk about some of those features in the new book. Let me give folks just a little bit of background on the Institute in case it's the first time you're joining us. BPM Institute has been around for 25 years. In 2002, our network of communities include the BPM Institute, Business Architecture Institute, as well as the Digital Business Institute. We have over 100,000 members worldwide, and we're an authority in education, training, and certification. Our Meet the Author webcast series has featured many of the top thought leaders across many different topics over the years. Folks like Jim Siner, Andrew Spaney, Joe Chinwerts, recently recorded a book with us on intelligent automation, Dan Morris and Keith Lutz, Andrew Campbell, James Taylor, Matthias Kirchmer, and many more. And so we're thrilled to feature Dr. Setrag today. And Setrag, I'm going to go ahead and close my slides down and let you bring yours up. And I'm hoping that you can let our members know, why now for the timing of the book. And if you can also give them some insight to the overall structure of the book and some of the things that you cover.
Absolutely. I'm really thrilled to be here. As you mentioned, Greg, we're old friends. We work together in a number of projects, conferences, etc. So I'm very happy to be here. You've done an excellent job, by the way, educating the whole industry, the whole community, the business process professionals with your courses. And I consider you one of the best educators in the industry. Keep up the good work, Greg.
Thank you very much.
Honored. I'm very much honored. So, well, the world is changing, as we very well know, and it's going to change even more. Even before the pandemic hit us, most organizations were on this, what is called digital transformation journey. And I have years and years of experience, not only, as you described, Greg, building software products or, in different capacities in various organizations, and being involved with many enterprises and their pain points and their journeys for digital transformation. So I have learned a lot. And I'm at heart also an educator. I don't know if you know about this, Greg. I've been also a professor, adjunct professor, and full-time in a number of universities. I love interacting with students. And of course, BPM is dear to my heart. And it has evolved. It has changed over the years. So putting all that together, especially what organizations were going through, as well as the trends, I've been in the past, especially a couple of years, and in fact, I did a series on cognitive world, a 10-part series where some of the authors you mentioned also are part of it, have contributed there, on digital transformation, debt, and really all these three terms, digital transformation and debt, are very, very important. It's a digital world. There are a lot of technologies that get involved in it. It's transformative, and that's the cultural transformation. In fact, if you look at the organization of the book, I start with culture, right? And what I'm trying to illustrate here, which is from the book, is the flattening of organization. I mean, what COVID-19 did is that it enabled a lot of the lower level employees, so as to say, to have more access, to be connected with the rest of the enterprise. And this flattening, which needs what I call, and the industry calls, servant leaders, who have the vision to see these digital trends and say, how can we upscale and rescale our employees? So culture is extremely important. But then you have the operational excellence, right, which is very familiar with the BPM community, your audience, and automation. But automation itself is going through a transformation. There are different types of automation, repetitive work. We're seeing the explosion of robotic process automation. And then, but there is these bots, this AI-assisted work, and then there are the cognitive worlds. And so the repetitive and the cognitive work is increasing. This is all covered in the book. I don't want to go over the details. And by the way, the book exists in ebook format. It exists in hard and as well as in paperback on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, everywhere. Right. So this trend of automation is extremely important. And the book concludes with this almost like a tug of war between best practices, where organizations want to do minimum viable products very, very quickly, and the best practices. So I go into that as well. So it starts with culture and concludes with this tug of war, and what is the structure of a digital transformation competency center, right? It's very important. And this could be of interest to your audience specifically, is the evolution of intelligent business process management, which has had many, many names for it. I cover it throughout the book, which covers everything from design thinking methodologies, as well as digital enablers such as Internet of Things and blockchains, and how they relate to the this continuous improvement of innovation. So the modernization from systems of record, data aggregation, process mining, and then automation and the continuous improvement cycle. Here's an example. We saw telehealth exploding. I use this for the COVID-19. The post-COVID-19 world is going to be very different. COVID, the pandemic, accelerated innovation, accelerated transformation, and from the culture to the competency center, leveraging digital technologies. And this is just an example. And the last one I want to share is that we're seeing the emergence of these reference architectures, which have, of course, IoT, connected devices. Blockchain is becoming important. But one of the areas that is happening, and I dedicate a whole chapter to it, is this whole notion of citizen developers, leveraging low code, no code. And, in the business process world, we're very familiar. We've been doing that. Sometimes us as professionals say, well, what's new? We've been talking about this, drawing the models, the flow charts, the BPMN, etc., and executing them, right? I mean, we've been doing this, but now, the industry, it likes the new terms to introduce concepts, and low code, no code, and I differentiate between them. I explain, I dedicate a chapter on citizen developers, which is very important. The business subject matter experts are now able to build applications. And that's revolutionary and that's accelerating. So it's a cultural transformation from many, many angles. And of course, making those available through multiple channels. So there's a lot there. I cover it, but it's relatively, as you said, I was very careful to keep it simple, to keep it palatable. And the ebook version, although both the paperback as well as the hardback has all the references in the book. The book is only 200 pages. It has an index. But the ebook version, you can click on the reference. I recommend people to get both. To get the ebook, it's on Kindle, it's on Nook, it's Google, it's everywhere. I even saw it on Target. So, so I encourage you to get it, especially for the business process professional, because it covers the whole area of digitization and transformation.
Right. And just to talk about it for a minute, what I like about the format that you've set up, Setrag, is you've got dedicated chapters that talk about each of these components and the evolution of these different skill sets. But there's also a set of recommendations for each section. So we're not just throwing out buzzwords. We're not just, trying to scare people with new technology that's coming down the pike, but it's explaining how that technology fits into the existing work that they're doing and some of the work they will be doing upcoming. But I also thought that the recommendations were quite realistic and some good takeaways for folks. So appreciate that. You touched on a topic near and dear to our heart. Maybe if I can ask you just to expand a little bit, what is your sense on the opportunity for folks that are already process professionals? Where does the opportunities lie for them going forward?
That's so important and so dear to my heart at the same time. In fact, in some ways, the business process professionals are really the one area of professional development that prepared them for this type of digital transformation that is happening. They are the most cognitive, they're the most aware of this modeling, operational excellence. I even touch about Lean and Six Sigma, right? Getting rid of waste, the critical to quality, and how BPM and automation can help. They have the mind frame. They're really the right audience but they need to educate themselves with this newer, right?
Yep.
Newer digital technology, newer approaches, the cultural trends. That's why I try to make it so holistic, like cover everything. Internet of Things, connected devices are coming and they're becoming part of the end-to-end value streams or value chains.
Right.
And of course, different types of technologies like artificial intelligence, I covered that. Data science, like process mining, right? Process mining is becoming an essential component of this continuous improvement that we in the BPM world have been talking about. So they're really ready, but I encourage them to get really into the book and any educational opportunity they might have. And I'm building a whole company. I've just started consulting, completely dedicated to this because so important. And business process professionals are number one because they're ready. They've been doing it, but now we need to modernize it and take it to the next stage.
Right. I agree. So if I can switch gears for just a second, Dr. Setrag, I'm going to let folks know what we've got cooked up for some of the new learning paths and training offerings that we have. So let me see if I can switch gears and share my slides for a second. And now I have some exciting news I'd like to share with you about our upcoming educational opportunities. We recently announced a series of new learning paths totally dedicated to digital transformation. This new offering includes 4 new core courses, the first of which, our Digital Transformation 101 class, will debut online on November 15th. This course is based on Dr. Setrag's new book, and we'll be providing participants with a free copy. We've also announced 5 new certificate programs focused on specific areas of concentration. Many of these courses will be available the week of November 15th as well. Lastly, we'd like to provide you with a digital badge for attending this webcast. Instructions to follow. What I want to share with folks now are some of the developments we have in new courses and new certificate programs, as well as some opportunities to get into these courses before the end of the year. I think this is probably the most significant amount of changes we've ever made to our learning paths. We have also updated a lot of our very popular core classes like BPM 101 and Business Architecture 101 now have digital transformation sections added to those. But the blue section that are our digital transformation offerings really have gone through a complete overhaul and inspired in a good deal to what you've covered in the book and where some of these topics have now evolved to. Folks will notice we now have 4 new digital transformation core classes. The very first class, the Digital Transformation 101, is based directly on Dr. Setrag's book. And even though not all of these courses will be available this year, Digital Transformation 101 class will be available in New York on November 15th. And Dr. Setrag is going to be delivering that course personally. And then in Q1 of next year, the remaining courses will be available. And we've talked about some of these topics, but specifically low code, no code, hyper automation, and digital transformation culture will round out the new set of core classes that we have. I mentioned the 101 class. You're going to be able to have an opportunity to attend that and join Dr. Setrag on November 15th. The course will run from 9 to 5 Eastern. And for all folks that are signed up for that course, we're going to provide a complimentary copy of the book. The course description is up on our websites, so you can feel free to go explore that. And it's something I would highly recommend to all of our members. These are things and types of projects and initiatives that you're going to be working on. And as we discussed, process professionals have a unique perspective on the organization from an end-to-end perspective. All of these things are going to pay benefits to you going forward. And so escalating your digital transformation, education and skills, I think would be quite good advice. I also want to talk a little bit about our areas of concentration in our elective courses. So the vast majority of these courses will be available in New York in November. Our Agile Business Analysis track, our Decision Automation track, and then the 3 brand new tracks, Process Mining 101, Low Code, No Code 101, and Intelligent Automation 101 will all be available in New York. As always with our format, you can purchase courses individually, but they are also part of a certificate program that folks can earn through a 4-course curriculum. We now have 12 unique certificate programs and 3 certifications that we sponsor. And a few dates left between now and the end of the year. We've got our virtual London event that kicks off right after the Labor Day holiday, but then we'll be in Washington, D.C. in September and New York City in November. One of the things I wanted to provide everybody as well is a digital badge for attending this webcast, as we've done with our others in the past. This digital badging program allows you to share your interests and support of the institutes on social media, on your signature in your email, or just to forward a note to your colleagues. So you can take a picture of that QR code with your phone, and that should let you automatically download the badge. And we appreciate you giving us your time today, and look for more Meet the Author webcasts and more contributions with Dr. Setrag in the near future. Thank you so much, everybody. And Dr. Setrag, thank you so much for coming down and giving us the time. I've got a copy of the book, and I recommend it to our members as recommended reading. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.